I need to introduce you to Harry. Harry's the Hydrovane. He's my self-steering gear, and he's a very interesting guy. I think you need to come and meet him. This is a system which works completely independently of the ship's rudder. It's actually a secondary steering system as well. You can see that it's attached to the ship by a bracket here and another bracket there, which come down in the V, and there's a third bracket underneath the sugar scoop. You can see the wooden plate there. That's the workings of it. This is the control line, and what you do is basically you alter the angle of the vane into the wind in the direction that you want to go, and you set the course, and the vane will be blown either to the right or the left depending on which side the wind is, and as it blows to the right or the left, that movement is transferred to this system here, and this rocks back and forward, and as it rocks back and forward it moves this handle here, which is connected to the rudder, which is down there. That piece of string is in case the rudder comes off, I don't lose it. So basically, if the wind vane goes over that way, then the rudder goes that way, and if it goes the other way, you see how it works. And of course what will happen is that the ship will line itself up. It'll steer the ship so that the leading edge of the wind vane is into the wind and it's not really moving much. Then the rudder doesn't move and the ship stays on that course. Of course, if the wind moves, then the ship will move relative to the wind. But out in the ocean, that doesn't happen too much. So, and it's a fantastic thing. It's maintenance free. It's very reliable. It has been so far. And this was sponsored to me by John Curry, who owns the company. And John is based in Vancouver, in Canada. It's a British-built unit. It was a British company that he bought and took over, but it's excellent. Now, it's this control line, very simply, by pulling either the upper level or the lower level, goes around to here and pivots the vane, so I can move the angle of attack of the vane to the wind without having to come back here. And this line, you can see this line goes all the way back there, so it's just by the cockpit. So I can come out by the cockpit and just pull on the line over there and alter the wind vane, and I can alter the ship's course. So we can have a look at the Hydrovane working. So you can see the wind vane as the boat, because we're sailing head to wind, we're going into the waves, so we're bouncing up and down a little bit, and we're also the boat is yawing a little bit. The waves are pushing the bow slightly off from right to left, and as it does that, of course it alters the attitude of the boat to the wind, and the wind vane responds by giving little flicks right and left, which turn the tiller the other way, left and right, and bring the boat back on course and holds the boat on its course. I mean, compared to the days when Francis Chichester and Knox Johnston and Shea Blythe did their sails, their voyages around the world, the self-steering gear was, I mean, they all had self-steering gear, and basically it all failed. Of course, it wasn't as robust and they didn't have the materials, but it really is an outstanding model, this one, because it is completely independent of the ship's steering. Most self-steering systems have lines attached to the ship's steering, and it's all quite complicated to set up, and if it fails, the whole thing fails. And basically, if I lose the ship steering, I basically can use that as a tiller. So it's a very, very useful piece of kit.